says Khalid from Morocco. Oh, hello. Hello, Morocco. Glenna says, do you talk of grief from losing an adult child? Very, very hard. What can one say? That's a tragedy, a disaster. There's nothing for me to say. Neither I have the power to somehow say things. I have a chapter in one of my books about death of a family member. But I know how difficult that is. I lost my father 6 years ago, 2011. And it is a very difficult thing as part of the truth of life, unfortunately. I don't know how helpful it may be, but there are ways that one can talk about when he hasn't lost his own child. But no matter what one says, it's not going to be of much of a help until you realize in your own heart that I know it's not going to be that helpful because we all want our child back, regardless what other shape they may still be living in this universe. We want it back. I understand that. There's nothing I can say about it. And, that's given. I just want to talk about something other than this tremendously big loss. Just about some philosophy. You may find it somewhat, possibly, useful, but it's not really meant to ease your pain because there's nothing that I can say that could replace what you're going through. A friend of mine asked me a while back about having lost his mother and that he couldn't do much, he couldn't be sociable anymore, and so on. So I wrote an article for him, and of course then I discussed this in more detail in one of my books about loss of a family member. And perhaps if we just focus on who we are in this world, maybe would be just a distraction from that, what we seek. But it's not going to be a remedy. We tend to see everything physically. And we see the trees, we see the ocean, we can touch. And we are accustomed to think that we are what is visible. And we are what we can be touched. But we have to realize that our entity is made out of spirit and a physical being. There's a part that is visible to each one of us from each other, and there's a part of us that is not visible, but it is most important part of our being, but it's not visible. Is where the power, where the whole what we are, the most of what we are is in there, but it's not visible. It's kind of like the portion of the iceberg that you see on the surface of the ocean. You see an iceberg, piece of iceberg sticking out, and you think that's what the iceberg is. But hundreds of times bigger than what's visible, perhaps hundreds of times bigger than what's visible, is underneath the ocean, which is the main part of the iceberg. But it's not visible. So it is not correct to think that's what we see. What's visible is the whole of it. So what's visible from us and what we are in contact with is not really the whole entity of ours. The bigger part is our spirit, is our mind. is our connection with the energy of the universe, the energy of the source, where we are, where we have come from, where the energy comes for us and passes through us, facilitates our livelihood. And every day we sleep, that energy comes back to us, and we get up in the morning and we're vigorous. And through the day we use that energy, and again we are feeling not so vigorous, and we sleep and we recharge again, like a battery of a toy. But that energy, that spirit, that energy that flows through us from the universe is really the biggest part of us, and that cannot die. Where is it gonna go? When I die, my physical part of being, the visible part of the iceberg, will die, will not accept the charge, the energy that I always receive when I sleep at night and get up vigorous. Like the battery of the toy. You keep charging it and put it in the toy, and the toy works, and eventually at one time the battery doesn't take charge anymore. But the charge is still in the universe, is still in the nature. It just cannot take the charge, and the charge that he had is already for us too. When I die, my physical appearance will vanish. But what I learned, what I accumulated through experience and wisdom, through this experience of life, and the energy that was coming to me, through me, and the energy that I had in me, will all go where? Back to the collective consciousness of the universe. As I am a small puzzle of the whole picture, a whole consciousness of the universe. As every one of us will help through our experiences in life and wisdom to add to the wisdom of the universe. So when we die, all that wisdom, all that experiences, all that knowledge, all that energy goes back to where it comes from. Where else can it go? Outside of the universe? Where's outside the universe? So it's always going to be in the universe. The part of me that gave me life. Not the part of me that took something to make it work. Not the toy, the energy. The toy and the energy must be together in order for us to experience it in a physical world as we do. So I, being the toy, may die, but the energy that makes this toy work, as it is right now talking, will go back to the collective part of the universal energy. So I really never die. I will hang around. Part of the universe have helped my life, my experience in life, have helped the universe to become a little bit wiser, to know a little bit more through my experiences in life, and your experience in life, and everybody else's experience in life. So, I believe my father hasn't died, because I live through him, my son lives through him, universe has gained more knowledge through his knowledge and experiences in life. The way I knew him as physical being doesn't exist anymore, but the way he really was, what made that physical being function, never died. It is still part of the universe. Where can it go? It is part of the whole, and it can't go anywhere else. So, in that way, perhaps we can still feel the existence of the experience and the love and the contribution of that life that is still part of the bigger life, only not the way we can see it, but still affecting and part of the whole as it was before, in the physical world as well, now not in physical world, but in the real world, the spiritual world, the energy world, what really makes everything happen and be alive and function. Now,